Let's rewind to a moment that feels almost nostalgic now. April 2023. EXO's leader Suho stands on a stage, his voice thick with emotion. He promises the fans, EXO-Ls, that the group is preparing something special, that all the members are united, that after the long dark tunnel of military enlistments, EXO is coming back whole. The fandom erupts in joy. This is the light at the end of the tunnel. Fast forward to late 2026. The comeback is here. But the teaser shows only 6 shadows. The promise is broken. The unity is shattered. This isn't the story of a group failing to make a comeback. This is the story of how a comeback became the battlefield in a vicious behind-the-scenes war. A war between members, between agencies, fought with lawsuits, press releases, and weaponized nostalgia. And the casualties are the trust of millions of fans and the legacy of one of K-pop's greatest groups. The irony is that EXO was built to survive chaos. Their origin story was one of unprecedented scale and inherent tension. 12 members from 2 different countries, forced together under a sprawling sci-fi concept. From the very first episodes of their reality show, EXO Showtime, a subtle but persistent narrative began among netizens. These guys aren't necessarily friends. The interactions were often polite, sometimes awkward, dripping with the formal Korean honorifics that never seemed to drop even years in. They were co-workers of extraordinary talent, operating a complex machine called EXO, and for a long time, that was enough. They survived the 3 seismic departures of their Chinese members, Chris, Luhan, and Tao, each exited drama that played out in international headlines. They became kings. But that early dynamic, that professional distance, created a crucial flaw. When a real internal crisis hit, there was no deep personal bond to fall back on. There was only the machine and the company that built it, SM Entertainment. The first public crack wasn't a crack, it was an explosion. June 1st, 2023. News breaks that Chen, Baekhyun, and Xiumin, the powerhouse vocal subunit CBX, have filed to terminate their exclusive contracts with SM. The reason? They cite a complete lack of financial transparency, claiming they'd never seen proper settlement documents for over 12 years of work, and allege the existence of slave contract that bound them for decades. This wasn't a member quietly choosing not to renew. This was a targeted, legal missile launch at K-pop's most powerful empire. SM's counterattack was swift and designed to inflict maximum reputational damage. They accused CBX of tampering, of being secretly coaxed by an outside agency, a scandalous claim in an industry built on control. The fandom was paralyzed. This was uncharted, ugly territory. This was about money, law, and corporate betrayal. After a month of brutal public negotiations, a ceasefire was announced. CBX would remain in EXO for group activities, but their individual careers would be managed by a new agency, INB 100, founded by Baekhyun. They would pay SM a 10% royalty on their solo earnings. It looked like a compromise. In reality, it was a time bomb, because what nobody said out loud was this: what was the atmosphere in the room now? Think about the practicalities. You have Suho, the leader who dedicated himself to holding the group together in the military. You have Kai, who lived and breathed EXO's performance legacy. And on the other side, Baekhyun, Chen, and Xiumin, who had just publicly declared their company, the same company Suho and Kai were still in, untrustworthy. Every group meeting, every rehearsal for that promised comeback was now layered with unspoken tension. The professional curtain was still up, but everyone knew the backstage was on fire. Then, in mid-2024, the bomb detonated. SM filed a new lawsuit, claiming CBX breached their peace treaty by not paying that 10% royalty. CBX didn't just defend themselves. They went on the offensive, filing 6 counterclaims. The legal war was back, but the language had evolved from corporate to deeply, painfully personal. This is where the story splits from a legal drama into a true psychological riff for fans. SM released a statement that didn't just talk about breached contracts. It said, and this is a direct translation, CBX's actions had damaged the team EXO and deeply hurt the members. Let that sink in. The company was no longer just defending itself, it was framing the trio as having emotionally wounded their own brothers. Meanwhile, from the CBX camp, the narrative was one of continued victimization and exclusion. The most chilling public moment came after a sparse EXO anniversary livestream in 2024, which only featured Suho, Chanyeol, Dio, and Kai. Afterwards, Baekhyun posted a pointed message on his social media: "I also found out through the news. I wish they had told me." The message was clear. The members weren't talking. The lines of communication were dead. Fan theories exploded. Was this a deliberate freeze-out by the SM loyal members, or was Baekhyun strategically playing the victim card to control the narrative? The trust was gone, replaced by a toxic fog of speculation and blame. The direct consequence was the silent death of the full group 2023 comeback. Despite CBX's public assurances they had cleared their schedules, it vanished from the plans. The industry began to whisper EXO was too damaged, too complicated. But SM had a plan. began. In October 2026, the EXO fan meeting and comeback. The listed participants: Suho, Chanyeol, Kai, Sehun, and the shocking return of Lay, who hadn't promoted with EXO since 2016. Noticeably, tragically absent CBX. IMB 100 was apoplectic. They released a timeline of meetings proving they had tried to negotiate the trio's participation, claiming SM had agreed in principle before pulling the rug out. SM's final position was cold and absolute. Due to the ongoing legal disputes and breach of trust, CBX would not participate. The court of public opinion was now in session, and the evidence SM and CBX presented was designed to win fan loyalty, not a legal case. And this is where the 2026 comeback, Reverks, transforms from a musical release into a controversial psychological operation. SM's creative team made a deliberate, calculated decision. They would use EXO's own glorious history as the concept. The teasers are a direct, unapologetic tap into the fountain of fan nostalgia, the superpowers, the tree of life, the cinematic aesthetics of their 2013-2015 golden age. They released dance practice videos in the old iconic SM practice rooms. The photo concepts echoed specific past albums like Miracles in December. For a segment of the fandom, this was a masterstroke. For another, it felt like a brutal, emotional manipulation. Online forums and comment sections filled with heartbroken fans expressing a single powerful sentiment: "You are using our happiest memories of all 9 of them to sell us a version with only 6. You are making us mourn what we're watching." The album title itself, Reverks, was seen by many as a direct heady dig at Baekhyun, whose successful solo world tour was titled Reverie. Every detail felt loaded, intentional, and designed to signal that SM owned EXO's past, present, and future. The fandom, EXO-L, is now a house divided, mirroring the group itself. One faction, often called OT6 supporters, places the blame squarely on CBX and INB 100. Their argument is pragmatic. Other members like Lay left SM amicably and can still participate. By choosing an aggressive legal war, CBX destabilized the group and made planning impossible. They see the 6 participating members as professionals, honoring their contracts and trying to salvage something for the fans. The other faction, the OT9 loyalists, direct their fury at SM and painfully at the 6 promoting members. They view the comeback as a sham, a cash grab that legitimizes the exclusion of 3 core vocalists. They scrutinize every gesture, like when Sehun in a live stream cluelessly asked why chat was spamming 9, causing the other members to stiffen and quickly change the subject. That moment is now dissected as proof of a guilty conscience. This split is EXO's new reality. Every comment section is a war zone. Every fan event is shadowed by protest. So, what is the real cost of Reverks? Beyond the charts and sales figures, this comeback has irrevocably changed EXO's story. It has proven that the "We Are One" slogan can be overridden by corporate warfare and broken trust. It has shown that the bonds, however professional they may have always been, can be stretched to a breaking point. The group is now effectively partitioned. EXO the brand, managed by SM with 6 active soldiers, and CBX listed as inactive on official profiles, existing in a legal and promotional limbo. The comeback is proceeding, but it feels less like a celebration and more like a tense, polished funeral for the idea of a complete EXO. The music will play, the performances will go on, but the ghost of the 9th member, the 8th, the 7th, will haunt every step. The final, unanswerable question hanging over this entire era is no longer when will EXO come back. It's far more bleak. After this, Ed.